Hey, is this thing on? Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm sure you can hear me. But if you're like millions of Americans, you're probably having trouble hearing me. And that's because you have tinnitus. All right, here we go. Now, I have tinnitus. And before we get started, it's like 40 some degrees. Let's see, 49 degrees. And I don't know, I'll throw a card up for this road. I think it's Brighton Dam Road. But we're going to talk about tinnitus today because this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. And it's one that I struggle with. And we're going to tell a couple stories along the way. But hopefully at the end of it, you'll have a better understanding of tinnitus and how it relates to motorcycling in general, or specifically, and life in general. Yeah, there you go. Got the words to work this time. So first of all, what is tinnitus? Tinnitus is damage to the cilia, which are the small little hairs inside your ear. And you can Google it all you want, but the quick and dirty is usually tinnitus sufferers have lots of these little cilia touching each other. And it creates a synthetic sound that their brain interprets as a sound wave, because our ears process sound waves, so pressure waves, and convert that to noises that our brain then processes and says, hey, John from Road Reality is doing an intro. So that's what allows us to hear. And when those hairs cross, you get tinnitus, so a synthetic sound. For most people, it's a jet engine or crickets. For me, it really is the cricket noise. Late at night, I can stand outside and I can turn my head one way and hear crickets. I can turn my head the other way and not hear the crickets. So I know that my tinnitus follows that noise pattern. And what this does is it leads to usually high frequency hearing loss, which is what I suffer from. We'll get back to that in a minute. But it also makes life in general more difficult. William Shatner, reportedly, I don't know the truth to this, but it's a story I've heard several times, was apparently considering suicide. But Leonard Nimoy, live long and prosper, he talked him off a ledge. He kept William Shatner from killing himself, which is great because had he killed himself, we would never have gotten his beautiful performance in Boston Legal with James Spader. So if you've watched that show, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, go find it on demand somewhere and watch it. It's awesome. But William Shatner apparently suffered from tinnitus, probably as worse as I do, if not really close. And if you notice a lot of edits here, it's because I'm trying to not talk when the cars are passing by so I can cut them out, like that one, because other tinnitus sufferers are going to have trouble hearing this video. So yeah, William Shatner apparently had tinnitus really bad and was going to kill himself until Leonard Nimoy stopped him, which is awesome. But it really is debilitating. It's a chronic illness that can lead to pain, frustration. Hey, let's go this way. I don't know what's down that road. And it's really frustrating, especially if you have small kids who make a lot of noise, or if you like to motorcycle like I do, and bikes are loud. I mean, I can be driving in my truck and the cars around me, if they have a loud exhaust, they can actually aggravate my tinnitus and make it worse. So I tend to drive around with my windows up when possible just to avoid that stuff. Every week I see advertisements for new remedies, and I can almost guarantee you that doesn't work. I mean, there's different levels of tinnitus. There's a psychosomatic version, there's a mild version, and some of those over-the-counter meds might help. I did read research years ago about a tuning fork device used in Europe that actually allows the doctor to tune to your specific tinnitus frequency and hopefully reverse the effects of the tinnitus to where you can hear again. And it kind of uncrosses those cilia, if you will. So if I'm saying that wrong, correct me. And also, I know tinnitus is pronounced tinnitus by the doctors, but the colloquial term is tinnitus, so we're going to go with that. Anyway, back on topic. The effects of tinnitus are far-reaching in your life because any noise, especially sharp ones, can cause aggravation of the tinnitus, can cause further hearing loss, can cause louder tinnitus. Now on to my personal experience with tinnitus. About 23 years ago now, one day it just started. I wasn't really exposed to loud noises. I never listened to my headphones that loud. Didn't go to a lot of loud concerts. But one day my ears started to ring, and they just haven't for the last 23 years. And it has good days and bad days. You know, if you drink a lot of alcohol or ingest a lot of nicotine, however you do it, that can make the tinnitus louder. Exposure to loud sounds, like I mentioned before, can really aggravate it, and very quickly. So at my house, I have a box of earplugs, and they're a 32 or 33 decibel NRR rating, which is noise reduction, something or other, basically decibels. The higher the better. And I find that on a motorcycle like this, it creates kind of a bassy noise. When I had my first bike, my Vulcan 800, it's still stock. It wasn't nearly as bad because it was a very quiet bike. And because it was so quiet, I really didn't need earplugs unless I was getting on the highway. But when I upgraded to a bagger, all of a sudden, earplugs are an important part of my gearing up ritual. I put them on every ride. If I don't, within 5 minutes, I basically can't hear anything, and my hearing is hosed for the next day. So always wear your earplugs. There's a side benefit if you motorcycle, and here's where motorcycling in specific comes in really important, is if you motorcycle for hours on end, no matter what bike you're riding, it is always beneficial to have a pair of earplugs in. Regardless of state law or whatever, it's personal comfort, and noise over a long period of time can be very fatiguing. So OSHA even has stuff on this. They've got white papers on it where if you're experiencing so many decibels for so many hours, you need hearing protection, and they require employers to provide that. I used to work in a print shop, and they did a lot of heavy machinery stuff doing printing. If you've ever seen movies where they're printing out newspapers, we did that kind of thing in the building I worked in. So for the manufacturing staff, they provided earplugs, and they were good. They were 29 or 32 decibels, and they worked really well. And I'd grab a couple pairs and go and use them, and then put them back in the baggie and use them when I went out to a bar or club or something, because I can't walk into any crowded public place and hear anything after 5 minutes. And it gives me a headache. And at this point in my life, it's gotten to the point where I had an audiologist appointment a couple of years ago, and she did a hearing test, and she found that on the curve, anything over 8,000 hertz or 8 kilohertz is diminished, but pretty much everything after 12 kilohertz is gone. It's just, there's nothing there. So I don't know where we're at now. All right, so we're on 10 Oaks and Greenbridge. Let's keep going. Let's figure out where we end up. So she found that my hearing is basically crap after 8 kilohertz and really crap after 12 kilohertz. And that's not good. But I do what I can to protect it. I think I mentioned it earlier, I keep earmuffs around the house, and I keep earplugs so that, you know, if the kids are getting noisy, I can tolerate it and not get angry, because my tinnitus causes anger. It really does. It makes me angry when my hearing is possibly more damaged than it already is, because I don't want to lose any more of my hearing. I want to grow old listening to everything around me and getting a lot of enjoyment out of life. And when you can't hear things, it really does lower that enjoyment. But one of the things you can do is turn on the closed caption on your television. Rather than turn it up to where you can hear and you get blasted out during action scenes, you can turn the closed captioning on, and then you'll be able to, I know it sucks you have to read, but the action sequences you'll hear fine, but all the talking you'll still understand, which is really cool. So that's one of the things I've done to help lessen the impact of tinnitus on my life. And other than that, I realized that, well, it's permanent and science hasn't fixed it yet. They may still come up with a fix. It is the one sense that I don't think science has fixed, because they can do LASIK, they can fix your nerve endings, they can do everything else that is important to daily life, but not hearing. If you're out there still watching, protect your hearing. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got something out of that video. If you did, let me know in the comments below. Hit the old like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Yes, I'm looking at you, non-subscriber, watching my videos. And until I see you again, keep the shiny side up. Take care. Maybe I should have gone with the handle of Half-Deaf Biker instead of Road Reality for my channel name. Maybe then people would understand the tinnitus thing a little better. What do you think? Yeah, I'm not changing my channel name. No, it's not happening. Oh well.